Okay, I want to show you how I do the edging. When I say edging, what I'm doing. And you can see here I started around this kind of fuchsia colored heart, and I'm doing a or not a chain stitch, what is this? A stem stitch. And it's one of my favorite stitches. It's super easy, and as you can see, it kind of jazzes up the whole piece a little bit, and it's a really super simple stitch. But I also wanted to show you what kind of cotton I'm using. I'm using a pearl cotton. This is 208 DMC. This is my favorite colors of purple. I use this one a lot. 208 and I think 155 are my total favorites for purples. So here you can see I've got it started and I'm going around. Now, the way in which I hold my work, I know, is every embroidery person does it a little bit differently. I tend to use these fingers and my thumb. And when I'm working, it's these two that are in concert and these two that are in concert. And when I say in concert, kind of like in pairs, I'm using them to all hold the piece. Now, I hope I can get this correct. You can see I'm going in. I get kind of really close, almost like I'm going underneath with the needle. I'm just using one strand of this pearl cotton. Come here, you. And I pull through. I catch it with my thumb. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to poke it up through almost, sometimes in the same hole that previous stitch was. And I pull it through. And then tug it closed. I pull it back so I can maintain tension and so I can go around where I'm going around. You can see again, I catch it with that thumb. And back up through, pull. Here we go. And back up through. Now what I really think is interesting, and this is what being an art teacher taught me, is why am I doing these things this way? What is it that these two fingers are doing and these two fingers? Pinky's just kind of hanging out back here. Pinky's just doing what Pinky does. So let's take a look at what's going on the back side. So you can see here my thumb is still pulling the thread. Come on, focus, you little stinker. So there I am. I'm in. I'm pulling through. And now we're to the point. This is one of those things I've had a lot of people ask me. It's like, how do you know where you're going? How do I know where I'm going? Well, when I really stopped and thought about it, it's the fingers on the back that are helping me. Because once I hit where I know I need to be is because of these fingers back here. These fingers, especially this middle finger, are helping me. I always know where it is when it's pinched between my thumb and here. I know exactly where that needle's going to pop up. So again, you can see it's the thread's looped here. Pull. I pull it back to maintain a tension. I'm going through, and sometimes if that middle finger is there, I sometimes jab that one a little bit. Doesn't hurt. Pulling through, and then back up through here again. And I've got to say, that simply comes from years of doing this, thousands of stitches. Like that one, I did jab my finger a little bit. Thousands of miles of stitches that I've probably made. And then stopping. Again, when a student asks me, well, why do you do it that way, miss? And sometimes my answer would be, I don't know. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And you can see here, I'm going over that stitch that I've already done, the blanket stitch to hold everything closed. And you can see, pull through. This is one way to do a stem stitch. You can do it a little differently, going a different direction, but I like doing it this way, which is essentially kind of like a back stitch, because you can see how neat and tidy it is along the back. There's very little wasted thread. If I did it the other way, I'd have a lot more thread on the back, about equal thread on the back as on the front. Here I can save a little bit of thread, plus I like the neatness of it. It doesn't bug, and you can see here there was a mistake that I made. I got a couple of knotted loops, those twisty loops that I hate, and I went through and I tacked it down and then knotted everything off. Now the reason I did that is because sometimes when you're doing embroidery, I'll be stitching through something and you'll catch one of those threads and you'll pull it up through, and they're such a pain in the rear end to get rid of. So I clip everything really close. I make sure all of my tails are hidden. Once I make a knot, I pull through the felt like this, pull through and snip it off so there's no tail popping out. I hate that. I hate that so much. So I just kind of wanted you to see how I did that and how different it looks when you look here as opposed to, it looks nice. But for me personally, this little bit of extra, there's just something about that. I like the little rolled bit there. It just makes it fancy. So that's how I do the edging after I do the applique work.